There's one simple mindset shift that separates the artists that make it and the artists that continue to just do this as a hobby. If you want to be an artist full time, you have to treat it like it is your job. No matter what the case is, if it's what you want it to be your full time job, you have to treat it like you're already there. Now, granted, that doesn't mean abandon all other responsibilities and just spend all of your time on music, whether you have other things to be doing or not. But what it means is prioritizing it as a project and prioritizing it as something that you really want to invest as much of your time in as possible. So the main idea in this mindset shift is that you're now treating it like something that really is your lifeline. It's not necessarily top priority at every given moment, but it should be a pertinent priority every single day. Essentially, you have to act like you're already there at a point of this is all I really have to do. Because if you really care about it that much, you will do whatever you can to make it happen for yourself. If you're okay with it being a hobby, you're okay with it being a hobby. But if you're someone that really wants to make it your full-time job, you have to treat it as such and you have to prioritize it in a way that you are putting time into it, you are putting effort into it, you are pushing out music as much as possible, you are on social media, you are doing what you can to make this body of work, make this artist project something that is self-sustainable. And that really is what comes from the people that are treating it like it's their job, like it's something that they ultimately have to be doing. Because unless you feel like you have to be doing it, this is something that you need to do, it's not something that is more than a hobby to you, if that's the mindset that you have. But if you flip this switch and treat it as if this is everything, this is my purpose, this is my mission, this is ultimately what I know I was born to be doing, then this should be a piece of cake. What comes along with this is there are things that you might have to give up time wise. You might have to skip certain events or take certain time to really dedicate to this. But if it's something that you ultimately want to do, that shouldn't feel like as much of a sacrifice. If it feels like a huge sacrifice to be making an adjustment to work around growing your music, then maybe you don't want it as much as you think you do. But you have to be honest with yourself in terms of what it is you're really after. If you want it to be a hobby, stay course. You're going in the right direction with it. If you want it to be the only thing that you have to do and really live and breathe it, then you might have to make some changes. If you were told that your career would take off if you continued to work at it for the next 5 years consistently, would you be willing to do that? Are you willing to put in that much time and effort to really grow? Where is your comfort level with that sort of big picture? Because ultimately, the artists that do end up taking off are not only the ones that have made it their full-time job, but are the ones that have put in the time day after day, month after month, and even sometimes year after year. It's not going to be an overnight success. You might think that the song you just wrote is the next song of the summer or the next big hit. But granted, if you have only put in time recently, that's going to mean nothing. But if you release that song today and you continue grinding for the next 2 years, that song will eventually get the love and appreciation that you thought it deserved at the time. Part of treating it like a full-time job and like you're already living the life that you want to live is being willing to commit to doing something to benefit your music as a business every single day. If you're not willing to do these little things and contribute to the overall project on a regular daily basis, then it's not like a full-time job for you. It's like a hobby, because hobbies to people are something they can do in their free time. If you're just doing music in your free time, that's all it will ever be. But if you're making time and carving out your schedule so that you can put effort into the music and, all the business things that go along with it, or book a show on a weekend you have off or something, if you can find those opportunities and actually execute on them, that shows that you really want this to be your life. It's really a matter of whether you are willing to make time or whether you are just trying to find time within what you have. If you're just finding opportunities to work on a new song versus making time in your schedule to make sure that you get to do this thing, that's where the shift is. It comes down to what your perspective is on what you're doing as an artist. Is the contribution that you're making valuable enough to really be carving out the time? The moral of the story is your career will follow the path of the approach that you take. How dedicated you are, how consistent you are, how much energy and time you're willing to give it will ultimately determine how well you do over time. Hard work beats talent 9 times out of 10. You have to be willing to go above and beyond to make your dreams happen. And you have to be willing to stick it out years before it actually gets to where you want it to be. All of our favorite artists have been putting in the work for longer than we will probably ever know. But they managed to make it their full-time careers because they were willing to put in the work even when the door wasn't always opening. So if you're willing to treat it like your full-time job, then music will happen for you. It's only a matter of time. If you found value in this video, subscribe to our newsletter where we post weekly blogs, videos, and tips and tricks for you to take your content and brand to the next level. Thanks.